at least a worthwhile at least, I mean, not in terms of number of releases, but at least in terms of games out there, maybe a good amount of games. I'd say about 6 to 8 worthwhile games probably next year, including, I would say, Mario Party 9, and which I forgot to include for Mario Party 8. It's in there in 2007. Yeah, that's included on that list. Mario Party 9 Xenoblade. Add out like 4 to 5 more games, and it's pretty easy. My thoughts and wishes here that the other 2 Operation Rainfall games do get localized. Dynamic Slash comes over here, the new Fatal Frame comes over here, the new Sengoku Basra game comes over here, Earthseeker gets localized, Sega gets onto Rodea, and Dragon Quest Collections alongside Dragon Quest X, because there are people out there that don't really want to play, pay for online, or even really want to play an MMO. So giving them classic games that they may not have played in the first place, like myself, I might want to try those games out. That kind of thing. My wishes are at least give a couple worthwhile games, spread them out enough, and at least give us something to keep our Wiis busy in 2012. I mean, I've heard people say, oh, you can mod this stuff to play these games, or you can get like a foreign Wii. I've stated numerous times, I really don't want to do that. I'm sorry, I don't want to say it anymore. This is my last time I'm going to hopefully say it. I'm not going to do that. That's why I'm hoping for American localizations on these games. Second, people keep saying, oh, you can go back and play older games. You know what? I plan on doing that. I still have to play Trauma Team, Trackmania, Zack and Wiki, Little King Story, NHL Slapshot, all those games. Red Steel 2, I still have to get. Stuff like that. Kirby still. Stuff like that. And I'm going to, of course, play that throughout the year, play my older games throughout the year, but I still want a couple games to look forward to. And logically, you have to think about people who might be getting it. New games that people that might want to look for newer games, kind of thing. And this is my thoughts on this, and the reason why I think we do need support. And there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, you guys would be lucky to get 2 or 3 worthwhile games. You'd be like be logical here. They're not going to support much. As far as I heard, and I don't remember where I heard this at, but Iwata said that Nintendo's made mistakes with the GameCube and the 64 during the ending, meaning there was hardly any support out at the time, and they kind of can support like a year before, more so for the 64 than the GameCube, but they still have a little bit of support here and there. I don't think Iwata, the president of the entire company, since he's the president of Japan, would want something like that to happen again. I think he would want to hope for, another NES or Super Nintendo, because when I look back on NES and Super Nintendo, they had support for a couple years after, especially the NES. The NES was supported until like 94. And I know it's mostly third-party games and lesser-known sports games and stuff like that, but there was a few worthwhile games like during the beginning of that after period kind of a thing, or at least up until that new system. And my thoughts on this matter are, Iwata even said that system should be supported up until and for a short while after the new system comes out. So it gives my thoughts are, if he wants to make up for the last 2 systems, and he wants to do that, I would assume that he's hoping to fix that with the Wii, and then go on from the Wii to doing it with the Wii U and anything after kind of a thing. So they're going to want to make sure there's worthwhile games, and there's going to be games to fill the time slot until then, because they know people are going to get irritated if there's wide gaps of games. And especially coming off of how they actually did 2011, and like I said, it's not a horrible year, but it's been the worst year in my opinion so far, and I think a lot of people will agree with me. No offense, I love the Wii, I love the system, I love Nintendo, but like I said, this year wasn't really that great besides Zelda and Kirby, Rune Factory, and like Lost in Shadow and stuff like that, and Rayman, pretty much. And like I said, they would want to just have people tide it over. And I don't think, logically, from a business standpoint, cutting the Wii off before, or a long time before Wii U comes out, and immediately when the Wii U is out, to totally forget about the Wii, from a business standpoint, that doesn't make no sense whatsoever, because like I said before, not a lot of people are going to make that initial jump. So what are they going to do about the people who do not make the jump? If they don't do nothing, those people will look elsewhere, buy other products, and then Nintendo would have an even harder time trying to pull them back in. Because sometimes people go look for other things and they might not be able to pull the consumer back in. And let alone the fact that after Black Friday, all the Wii sold, and if the support for the Wii continues to sell the system in 2012, they would logically have to bring out more games. And I think a lot of people who bought that system on Black Friday bought it for Zelda, and they would want to hopefully find more games. And they're like, Zelda. And you know what? There's a couple of unlocalized games, about 4, 5, 6 unlocalized games that could fit that type of time span. Or there could be those lesser known titles that might be held back. My only hopes and wishes for 2012, and I don't want to sound like a broken record here because I hope not to sound like a broken record here, I just want games to play. That's all I want to play. I'm going to of course go back and play older games, but I want some stuff to look forward to. I don't expect no 2010. Don't make it seem like I want a million games, 30, 40, 50, 60 games in 2012. That's illogical. I just want a couple of worthwhile games spread out enough to make sure and hope that this becomes at least a good year. At least something that could maybe rival 2009 or 7. Something that's better than 2011, but not something that's 2010. You know, a good year at least overall. And it's the Wii's last hurrah before it gets some support here and there after, but it's not going to get too much, but at least something that leads up to the Wii U, so consumers have something to keep them busy. Because, you know, without games, the year will go by pretty slow. And I'm not talking about 3DS here, because 3DS is a handheld, people. 3DS, here's 3DS, handheld, here's the Wii console. They're two totally different things. Of course, 3DS is getting a ton of support. We got all these games coming out. But technically, the 3DS cannot make up for the Wii. If all we have is a 3DS in 2012, that's not really saying something. And that's no offense to Nintendo, no offense to 3DS, because 3DS is an amazing handheld, and it's getting tons of support, and I'm going to buy those games in 2012. I want the Resident Evils, and the Metal Gear Solids, and the Kingdom Hearts. But I'm just saying, I'm talking about the Wii in this video, and I hope and pray that Nintendo has something planned in there for every country, including America, including Europe, including Australia, and, you know, of course Japan, because obviously everything goes there. No offense, but you know, it's everything goes there. They're of course going to have something there. That's my thoughts. Hope you guys like this. I know I went on for way too long. This is going to be like a 3-part video, and I'm really sorry about that. Hope you guys liked it. Watch every part, please. Put in the comment section for all the videos what you thought about this video. What are your thoughts on there? How would you rank the years? I want to know that. That's one thing I want to know from you people. From 2006 to 2011, I would like to you guys rank from the best to the worst, you know, thing. I want you to give thoughts on what your favorite games were from each year. Your thoughts on my video here, what I stated, like my scores I gave to the system, which, like I said, are rough scores, not final. I'm going to do, of course, this next year. And what are your guys' hopes for 2012? I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you guys later in my next video. Peace. Have a good day.